Hello and welcome. I'm doing this video a little bit different than what I usually do. This is not part of my non-linear coming out story, but these are my own personal views on some of the situations that are going around in this country, especially what's going on in Florida with the Do Not Say Gay bill, or what's going on in Texas with the fact that they're taking direct aim at the lives of transgender children. And I think about the damage that politicians are causing. In the name of what? In the name of winning an election? Is winning an election really worth putting the lives of children and putting the lives of the most vulnerable people into jeopardy? Because that is what you're doing. You're putting people's lives into jeopardy. I want to talk about my own experience and being raised evangelical and LGBT, and how miserable I felt, and how alone I felt, and how I felt like I had nobody to talk to ever, and just how broken and how destroyed I felt, and how I desperately wanted to be able to just mention my story to somebody. Now, our time and age is different than when I was growing up, and I know that sexuality is a lot more accepted now. So I could only imagine somebody who grew up like I did, super religious at home. I don't care how old they are. They can be K through third, and I know that's one of the premises. This is a K through third bill. But hear me out. They're raised a certain way at home. It's not who they want to be. They don't feel safe. They don't feel secure to talk about their truth at home, to talk about their reality. So they stay quiet. They go to school, they share with a friend, they share with a teacher the fact that they have a different set of attraction. And now a teacher is obligated to go tell a parent that their child came out to them. This is tragic, because had I been in the third grade and had I come out to my friends and a teacher overheard me and told my parent, I wasn't ready for my parents to know. I knew in third grade that I was bisexual. I knew in third grade that I like girls and that I like guys. But I wasn't ready for anybody else to know. So what does this bill do? I think this bill essentially forces kids to stay quiet. Forces people to stay in their own depression. Forces people to stay in their own minds. Forces people to stay in their own brains. It completely does away with giving somebody the freedom to be who they are. We say we're in the land of the free. We say we're in the home of the brave. But if you're brave enough to come out, you're not going to have the freedom to own your story. Now a teacher has to come around, turn around, and tell a parent what they heard. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. I do work in education, and I do work with young people. And I just want to make this vow right here, right now, as I sit in my car. I will never, ever, regardless of what the law says, regardless of what's public policy, regardless of what school policy is, I will never out somebody. The coming out story to me is one of the most personal things I've ever had to do. And I only started telling my story when I was ready to come out. And when I was at a place that I was mentally and physically and emotionally and financially and everything ready to come out. And then I started telling my story, and I'm 100% comfortable with it. But go back 5 years, go back 6 years. Even though I was within my 30s, even though I was a grown adult, I was not at a spot to come out, so I didn't come out. I think that if at any moment anybody would have outed me, anybody would have told my family, anybody would have told my mom, anybody would have made a public post, anybody would have drugged me out of the closet, I would have been broken. It's easy to look at statistics and to see that LGBT people are at much higher risk of causing injuries to themselves, self-harm, and have thoughts to end their lives. I know that growing up, This was one of my biggest struggles. One of the struggles that I felt that I wasn't able to be myself and I just didn't want to be alive, and not being able to talk to anybody because I felt that telling somebody would put me at risk of the whole world finding out. So what we're doing is we're pushing a law that's telling kids, not only are you going to be a risk of somebody finding out and telling, you're almost guaranteed that if somebody finds out, they're going to tell on you. We can do better. This is bad policy. This is politicians pandering for votes from a group of people, the evangelical voting bloc, that they could care less if their children grow up traumatized, because they have this mentality that as long as their children are religious, that's all that matters. So I think that's, as adults, I think that as lawmakers, I think as public servants, what we need to do is we need to band together. It's okay to have a difference in opinion. What's not okay is to pander at the mercy and at the expense of children, of young people. Can we do better? Thank you. God bless.